Morning, myself Sri K.D. Borse sir, a biology subject teacher. Today we are going to learn 11 science biology subject syllabus contain chapter number 2, systematics of living organism. In this chapter contains some concepts like systematics, taxonomy, classification, types of classification, and 3 domains of life. So start today's first concept, systematics. What is meaning systematics or define systematics? Scientific study of similarity and differences of different kinds of organism called as systematics. Systematics is one of the branch in which on the basis of similarity and differences different kinds of organisms study scientific base called as systematics. Now we learn second term known as taxonomy. What is meaning or define taxonomy? Classification of organism on the basis of some criteria or principles called as taxonomy. It is also one of the branch of science deals with classification of organisms on the basis of some criteria or principles called as taxonomy. Term taxonomy was first introduced by A.P. de Candolle. Most of time this question create who was introduced first time term taxonomy. A.P. de Candolle introduced first term taxonomy. Up to this we detail discuss systematics and taxonomy term. Now we learn concept or term classification. What is meaning classification? Arrangement of organisms or groups of an organism in distinct category on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity called as classification. Means organism or groups of organisms are arranged distinct category like kingdom, class, family, genus, species. Such distinct category base, also similarity, dissimilarity base arrangement of organisms or group of organisms called as classification. You know, animal classification, plant classification are arranged by distinct category on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity. Classification done by different types like number 1 artificial classification, second natural classification, and number 3 phylogenetic classification. Means there are 3 different types of classifications: artificial, natural, phylogenetic classification. We learn one by one. First one, artificial classification. A type of classification on the basis of non-evolutionary features like habit, color, form. Such type of classification called as artificial classification. In this classification on the base non-evolutionary features, means this type of classification is not supporting to evolutionary theory on the basis of habit, color, and form of animals, classification takes place. Such classification called as artificial classification, and this classification propose Linnaeus, so called them Linnaeus system of classification. Why artificial classification are called as Linnaeus system of classification? Because Linnaeus is proposed artificial classification called them Linnaeus system of classification, and this classification is on the basis of non-evolutionary features like habit, color and form only. Second one is natural classification. It is also a type of classification based on objectively significant like artificial classification or artificial system of classification called as natural classification. Means in this classification is a base is objectively significant. Some objects on the basis like artificial means habit, color and form. So in this type of classification is also not supported by evolution theory. So this type of classification is only based on objectively significant like artificial system of classification called them natural classification. Such natural classification is proposed by Bentham and Hooker's. So called them Bentham and Hooker's system of classification. Why natural classification called as Bentham and Hooker's system of classification? Because natural classification proposed by Bentham and Hooker's. Up to this we learn artificial classification and natural classification. Phylogenetic classification, it is a type of classification based on common evolutionary descent. Means in this type of classification is clearly support evolution theory on the basis of common evolutionary descent. This type of classification takes place, and such type of classification means phylogenetic classification is proposed by Engler and Prantle's classification, because in these two scientists propose phylogenetic classification, so called them Engler and Prantle's classification. Seen here diagrammatic representation on the basis of evolution, you know, archaea, bacteria, eukarya, all these three forms of lives show common ancestor. So this type of classification is clearly depend on evolution based common evolutionary descent. Up to this we detail discuss different three types of classification: artificial classification, natural classification and phylogenetic classification. Now we learn three domains of life. Means on the earth life form three different types, like it include three forms: archaea, bacteria, eukarya. Means on the earth life is form three different categories. First one is archaea, second one is bacteria and third one is eukarya. So called them three domains of life. Seen here diagrammatic representation: archaea, bacteria, eukarya. Three domains of life is proposed Carl Huss in 1990, means 3 domains of lives. First time proposed, scientist name known as Carl Huss in 1990. Domains is larger unit than the kingdom classification. You know kingdom classification. There are 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So kingdom classification is divided into 5 different kingdoms, but domains classification, all lives or forms, only 3 categories like archaea, bacteria, eukarya. Why domains is larger unit than the kingdom classification? Because domains contain only 3 forms. All organisms are include only 3 forms. Kingdom classification, all organisms are included in 5 forms. So domains is larger unit. All 3 domains have a very unique is ribosomal RNA, rRNA. So this point is most important because all 3 domains have a unique is ribosomal RNA or rRNA. We learn all 3 domains, archaea, bacteria, eukarya, differences from one another point of view. First one is archaea made by prokaryotic cell, bacteria also made by prokaryotic cell, eukarya made by eukaryotic cell. So this is the difference between one another. Archaea prokaryotic cell, bacteria also prokaryotic cell, but eukarya eukaryotic cell. Second point, archaea cell wall with absent peptidoglycan chemical. So this is the different from bacterial cell wall. In bacterial cell wall with present peptidoglycan, but archaea cell wall absent peptidoglycan. So this is the difference between archaea and bacteria point. In eukarya cell wall, especially in plant, contain cellulose chemical material. In fungi cell wall eukarya chitinous. So cell wall with present cellulose in the plant, cell wall with present chitinous in fungi. So this is also differentiation between cell wall of plant and cell wall of fungi, and this type of chemical not present in cell wall of bacteria also archaea. All 3 domains, archaea, bacteria and eukarya, one of the most important characteristic features seen in archaea, like archaea survival of very extreme conditions like high temperature, high salinity, acidic condition. These 3 different conditions are tolerate archaeal organisms. This type of extreme condition is not tolerate bacteria as well as eukarya. So this is the most important characteristic features are seen in archaea organisms, like tolerate extreme condition like high temperature, salinity and acidic condition. Up to this we detail discuss. All three different domains like archaea, bacteria, eukarya are different from one another on the basis of cell, on the basis of cell wall contain chemical, and also on the basis of some special condition tolerate like extreme condition. Up to this we detail discuss. Concepts like systematics, taxonomy and classification. Types of classification, also three domains of life. On the basis of today's lecture, some exercise question noted here. Number 1, first, what are the three domains of life? Yes, there are three domains of life known as archaea, bacteria, eukarya. The term taxonomy was first introduced by, yes, A.P. de Candolle introduced taxonomy term first time. Which one is very unique in all three domains? rRNA or ribosomal RNA is very unique in all three domains. Why domain is larger unit than the kingdom classification? Yes, domains are three different types, means all organisms are include three form of life. Kingdom classification, all organisms are include 5 different kingdoms. So this is the different between domains and kingdom classification. So domains are larger unit than the kingdom classification. Match scientist and its contribution. Here noted scientist list, and this one is contribution of scientist. Artificial classification is done by, or contribution, yes, Linnaeus. So artificial classification contribution is Linnaeus scientist. Taxonomy, term taxonomy introduce, yes, A.P. de Candolle, means taxonomy, A.P. de Candolle contribution. Three domains of life, yes, three domains of life contribution, Carl Woese. Phylogenetic classification, yes, this type of classification is proposed by Engler and Prantles. Up to this we detail discuss here some terms like systematic, taxonomy, classification, type of classification, three domains of life, difference between three domains of life, and some exercise questions on the basis of today's lecture. Hope that you understood everything. Thank you.